And let's start with what could make Zoil frustrated in life. Well, Zoil is a person who feels like he must prove himself, but nobody's asked him to prove himself. And I bet the more followers he gets and the more viewers he gets, the more he feels like he might have to prove himself. Once again, like I said, there's nothing to prove, not even to himself, and that might make him frustrated. What could you find him doing? You might find him doing the extra shifts at work when nobody else asked him to do them. You know, it was an open pool for anybody to take, but no, Zoil's going to take them because he's a good guy. He's going to try to prove that he can do it. Or some feelings that might come through him are that he's not enough or not deserving or not lovable, but he is. That's just chemistry running through him. This means nothing. He is lovable. He is deserving. He is enough. I think I said those words twice, but it's okay. The point is that he has nothing to prove, and he doesn't have to do those 10 push-ups a day for himself either to prove that he's a strong person, that he can do that stuff, you know? It's just going to end up making him frustrated. Now, he doesn't have consistent access to willpower. So, if he hops on the train when he really hasn't had the moment to verify if it's correct for him or not, he's going to possibly back out, and he's going to end up possibly making either not showing up, or the situation's just going to end up being wrong for him because, you know, he wants to prove that he's a good guy and he can keep promises even though it's not correct for him. So he just really needs to watch out what he commits himself to. He's just going to be a frustrated being if he overcommits himself to things. What else could make Zoil frustrated? Well, we talked about being the good guy, the guy who doesn't rock the boat, doesn't make ripples or waves. He might put on a mask so that when people bully him, they don't know that true self of his. They only know the mask, so haha, joke's on them. They're not bullying me, they're bullying the mask. Or he might avoid confrontation or truth, so when things might get heaty, he just might flee, and that's all right. As long as he comes back to it to deal with it, it's all right if he avoids it and comes back to it when it's proper timing for him. But all of these things might end up making him frustrated. You know, putting on that mask, well, that's all that people know about him. He is Zoil. That is the mask that he put on. That's not his real name. He's a streamer. He's not going to use his real name as a streamer, right? What else can make him frustrated? Well, trying to find his direction, identity, and love. And I don't necessarily mean like partner love. I mean like love of life, love of humanity, love of self, etc. It might make him frustrated to like make this solidified idea of what that is. He might find himself frustrated a lot during his streaming capabilities because he must be like, whoa, where am I headed? What direction am I going in? Who do I identify as? I'm Zoil, but like, what is that? People really need to know a solidified answer of what that really means. And when he tries to solidify that answer of who am I, it's going to make him frustrated. But you know what? This is a superpower. He has this superpower where he can walk into a place and be like, And if that happens in any shape or form, whether it be my program, I'm just going to open it as I continue to talk. If he walks into a place and he says, like in any shape or form, like I said, whether it be saying, or he's just not into it, his mood's not there, then he should just leave because he's not having the correct opportunities in the correct environment with the correct people. His body just knows what's correct for him regarding that. So maybe the bar across the street or maybe going into a different office will be correct for him. I don't know, but this also incorporates living places, cities, towns, etc. So when he tries to force a direction, it's going to make him frustrated because his body already knows what's correct for him. Now, let's talk about how Zoil might hold on to people, places, things, and experiences long after their expiration date because, once again, he's trying to not rock the boat, trying to prove that he's a good tribes person, and holding on to those experiences, peoples, or things. He's not supposed to. But it's up to him to recognize that. It's not up to me or anybody else to tell him that, right? But he also might let go of support systems that were actually healthy for him, and he might get frustrated after he recognized that he let it go or let them go. So there could be both sides of the coin there, holding on to things that no longer serve him or letting go of things that actually are healthy for him. It's going to make him frustrated. So what can we say really about Zoil? He really does know how to take in pressure in his particular way. And he really is like this vortex or this like magnet in life, pulling people, places, things, and experiences towards him. And his job is just to say, uh-huh, or those caveman like sounds, those baby guttural like sounds that come up from his gut. Ooh, eh. You know, those are all guttural sounds that really will tell him if it's correct for him or not. And he should follow that. Because if he follows what his energy is telling him, he's one step closer to fulfilling his purpose. And when he doesn't follow his gut, he is one step closer to being frustrated and out of line with himself. So there's no 1, 2, 3 step plan that he needs to do to make life happen for him. It does happen for him. So if he is planning that, then that's also going to make him frustrated, is making those plans of how it's going to go down, because life is going to happen for Zoil. And just because one opportunity came to him, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only opportunity that he has to take. Sorry. Let's say that again. One opportunity came at him doesn't mean he has to take it. There's going to be more opportunities coming at him. He is a person who can probably walk into a room and mentally pressure people to get things going. I'm sorry about my product that's going on right now. It's a 750 Canadian dollar product, so like $2 US. But for some reason, it's being funky right now, so I apologize. Anyhow, let's talk about something different. What could Zoil possibly think that is wrong with himself inside of a relationship? What? We can talk about that stuff? Yeah. Zoil might think that his opinions and his insights are what's wrong with him in his relationships, but that's not right at all. Let's just leave it there and move on. Okay. The type of people that Zoil needs in his environment in order to be successful are people that will give him his space. People that will allow him to fumble and see the holes in the system and, fixes it. Needs more space, sees the holes in the system, fixes it, repeat. So that's the type of people he needs in order to be successful. People that will allow him to fumble and people that will allow him space. And the type of environment that he needs to be in order to be successful is that one in which that information can be exchanged. I give you this, you give me that. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Anyways, I'm going to continue. I don't know why it's doing this so much right now, but let's talk about what is actually defined in his chart. Let's talk about all the colors inside of his chart. Now, one thing that Zoil is really good at is being still like a mountain, because he has this capability of focusing and concentrating to make him this determined being that it's just beautiful. He has these fixed patterns about him. He has these routines about him. He's really good at making plans. He's not necessarily the person who's going to do the physical thing for the plans, but his concentration and his focus is a big part of his awesomeness of being able to see the pattern in the system. So in order to get anything started, you need friction. And friction really allows him to correct what has been wronged in the tribe. Because there's this thing about him, Zoil is in the now. Zoil has this capability of hearing things that nobody else can hear. See things that nobody else can see. So if he's in one side of the room and there's a conversation happening on the other side of the room, somehow he hears the little bit of whispering that is needed to be heard for him to respond in the moment to see if that's something that he wants to respond to. Because he is the listener. He is a person who has the skills and details, and he's probably quite excited about the skills and details that he does have. And he probably really does express them. And just because he's a listener, he's going to be getting a lot of different secrets told to him. But remember, secrets or stories, they do need to be told. So what's going to help with that friction? And sorry, I'm just listening to something in the background here. This friction that's going to help him correct the patterns in the now, because he can listen. He's going to make progress because of his insights. And he's going to get the details and skills in order to help him with... I'm sorry, just give me a second here. With this confusion that he has. He's only going to be confused until he's not. And then he's only going to be in doubt until he's not. Okay, what's interesting about Zoil is that he has these mysterious ideas that pop through his head, and people are like, oh, where did that come from? And he's like, oh, I don't know, it just happened. And that's what's correct for him too. So he really is this logical being. There's going to be doubt until he formulates something. He's going to have this mental ease mixed with doubt at all times. So maybe he's going to feel the pressure to want to commit to something, and that's going to make him frustrated. So he has all of these doubts. He is confused, and he's only going to be doubtful and confused until he isn't, and that's okay. And a lot of people probably think that that's not okay because we need to be certain. We have to know. But guess what? He will know. Once he has his insights, once he gathers the details, and once he gathers the skills. And that then will lead him to the proper hands that he needs to shake. He has this revolution within him. He knows how to get at the head of the table. So all of this accumulation of skill and detail and having these doubts and having these confusions, it's fine. Because at the end of the day, he still understands what is correct for him. The proper people, places, things, and experiences will come towards him, and those are the hands that he needs to shake. Although it may cause friction, that's okay. It's going to be corrected because he is here to help the betterment of them all. Them all meaning the community, meaning the world, whatever. So Zoil likes to start things just for the experience of starting things. He wants to start something just to have the experience. And maybe when the experience doesn't go his way, he blames it on other people that it didn't end up the exact way that he wanted it to. But that's okay. What we really need to do with Zoil is to make sure that he does put one foot in front of the other. That he really does contract down into one item at a time instead of spending all of his time doing everything at once. He needs to spend maybe one day doing that, 2 hours doing this, 6 hours doing that. One foot in front of the other. Because if he doesn't, of course, there'll be frustration. But the most important thing is that it'll just end up being a watered down version of what everybody expected it to be. What he expected it to be, what everybody else expected it to be. It's just going to be a watered down version of it because it's just going to be too many things at once. So once he realizes that doing one thing at a time is correct for him, it's going to help him correct the behavior that he needs to correct for the betterment of the collective. So let's kind of assimilate everything that we heard about Zoil today. Zoil is a person who has life coming towards him, and it's for him to say yes or no to for those experiences. But he really needs to listen to that aha or because he doesn't have that consistent access to willpower. So when he does say aha, he needs to listen to it. And when he does say what is he really saying no to? And he should honor it, because then he'll be spending energy on things that don't matter to him and his purpose in life. And his purpose in life is just to be confused and have doubt. And then he's going to gain some progress, and then he's going to find the fixed patterns in that. And that's what his purpose in life is. And every time he does say that and move towards it, or say and move away from it, he is allowing that purpose to flow through him. There's going to be some friction in his life, but that friction is going to allow him to see the patterns in what is around him. He's going to focus, and he's going to concentrate, and he's going to be this determined being who has all of these skills and details about the confusion and doubt that he did endure, because he has these mysterious ideas. And although they're mysterious and mystery kind of like, he is a very logical being, and being this logical being, there is going to be progress in what he does. Once again, for the betterment of everybody, because in the now is one of his power skills, is hearing things in the now that other people cannot. We can talk about different things regarding Zoil. We could talk like 18 hours if we actually had his true time of birth. We could talk about how he sleeps and how he probably feels like a whole different person while he sleeps. And we could talk about what he thinks his body's doing versus what he thinks his brain is doing. Like, this is what Zoil thinks he is. This is who he goes around the world thinking what he's doing. And that, using a soundboard, having other people as a soundboard, is not correct for him. He needs to wait for life to come towards him. So a lot of people have soundboards in their life. They have people, their besties, to see what an idea sounds like and have that soundboard yeah, that's not correct for him. So if he's doing it, it's not correct. He needs to make sure he listens to those internal mechanisms that were given to him. Otherwise, he's just going to end up being this frustrated being. All right. So I do these every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. In the future, we're going to be adding ASMR to our experience, but I hope you enjoyed this. We do this on Twitch, and don't forget to follow or subscribe. Thank you.